Yamaha big wheels come with extra wide, extra stable tires and a low profile that makes them simple to ride. So it's fun and easy to get to places you might not go otherwise.
So what took you guys so long?
Nothing.
The Yamaha big wheels. Perhaps they're the adventure you've been looking for.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Hey, that truck runs. A Fisher & Son doesn't.
Only gets the big Q. Quaker State.
Well, you can depend on number one.
Fuel pop, they start with Pennsylvania grade crude.
Nothing like Quaker State.
It's a one-of-a-kind formula. Stable viscosity, keeps the oil flowing, protecting, no matter what.
No substitute for quality. I got two great partners.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Today's Equitable has new ideas in financial planning that can help pay for the home you live in or build you a vacation home. Today's Equitable, your key to financial opportunity. Our new ideas not only protect you, but can help send your kids to college. Today's Equitable, your key to financial opportunity. Our agents and financial planners can show you new ways to make high returns on your money.
We are the Equitable.
Your key to financial opportunity.
This is the Charlotte Coliseum in Charlotte, North Carolina, getting ready for Illinois against Alabama. And Alabama this year comes in as the number 5 seed in the Southeast. Pretty good road record and better than 500 against other teams in the NCAA championship tournament. Illinois, on the other hand, is under 500, 4-6 against teams in the NCAA, but also with a pretty good road record of 10-6. This being in Charlotte, of course, it is a neutral court. Illinois comes in overall 22-9, Alabama 23-8. Let's get the lineups from public address announcer Sterling Martin.
Had a great game last time. Coming up from Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll be back in a moment.
Beautiful day, huh?
Yep. Hi. How you doing? I had a little trouble keeping up with you. Is that you back there? Yeah. Some road, huh?
Sure is.
Hey, how do you like your Grand Am?
Love it.
Really handles. Well, I guess you just flat disappeared from me back there, man. What engine you running?
3-liter V6.
Fuel injected?
Oh, yeah. Look, maybe I'll see you next time through.
Yeah, hey, maybe next time I'll have a,
Yeah.
Every bottle of Miller comes with a clear promise.
Miller's made the American way.
A promise that Miller beer has been brewed naturally.
Born and brewed in the USA.
And above all, a promise of purity. A promise that Miller beer contains no additives, no preservatives.
Miller's made the American way.
Miller beer. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
JB, when you take a look at the comparison between Alabama and Illinois, not much to choose except for points allowed.
That's the only difference, Mike. But keep in mind that Alabama likes to play an up-tempo game, so that certainly would account to why they give the opposition a few more points.
Let's take a look at the officials who will control the play here in Charlotte today. Bob Ola in the middle, flanked by Tim Higgins and Woody Mayfield. And we are set to go. Second round action of the NCAA tournament from Charlotte, Illinois in the dark uniforms. Illinois in the light uniforms, rather. White with the orange and blue trim. Alabama in the crimson and white. Winters jumping center against McKee, and Alabama will control the basketball. This is Terry Connor, a great penetrator. Gives it off to Gottfried. We'll set the lineups for you as we go along.
Illinois started off in a man-to-man defense. They want to play it aggressively. They want to keep Terry Connor out in front of them. As you mentioned, he cannot be allowed to penetrate.
Most of Alabama's points come from inside. This is Farmer at 6'3", plays a forward, and he is a tough customer inside. Connor back to Farmer, looking inside and now penetrating. First shot won't go, and the rebound went to Anthony Welch. Had such a big game on Friday night.
Slim player who really belies his lift figure in that he plays aggressively on the inside. The key to his effectiveness, he moves well without the ball.
Norman gets it off to Bruce Douglas, the senior leader at guard. Back to Welch, and there's the matchup we were looking for against Farmer, and Welch misfires on the first one.
That is, in fact, a mismatch that I think both teams will go to in terms of trying to get Welch to use Farmer, who's only 6'3", but Farmer, a very solidly built guy, plays a Rambo style of basketball.
This is Terry Connor, the #1 all-time assist man in Alabama history. Off to Buck Johnson, their big scorer, averages more than 21 points a ball game.
Mike, I mentioned at the top that I really think he's an underrated ball player. Extremely effective in every phase of the game. He's wiry built, but strong on the inside.
Alabama with a 2-0 lead. Illinois would like to run a little more, but they have become accustomed to playing that half-court game. Turnaround by Ephraim Winters won't go, and kept alive. Nice save by Glenn Blackwell.
Good jumping ability that time by Glenn Blackwell. Helped him to get their rebound over top of Mark Gottfried.
Welch looking inside to Winters. Back to Welch. It was so tough from the baseline on Friday night. And now down the lane goes Norman, and he'll draw the first foul.
That's the one mistake, as you take a look at Derek McKee, who picked up the foul. That's the one mistake that these Bama players make. Their inside guys, the key 1-2 players, Johnson and McKee, have a tendency to get in a lot of foul trouble. That could hurt them.
Fouls on Derek McKee, his first and the team's first. With 18:07 to go first half, it's a 2-0 Alabama score. Blackwell, good left-hand jump shooter, and ties it at 2. On the transition, we've got the block and we've got the foul. Derek McKee beat everybody down court and drew the foul.
We talked about how this game is certainly going to be a strong inside-oriented game. These guys also will play well above the rim. Take a look. Good move by Derek McKee as he hustles down court, but Winters couldn't resist the temptation to go up for the block.
Winters picks up his first personal, and McKee, a 77.5% free throw shooter, will go to the line.
Really has blossomed as a player this year. Only a sophomore. Comes from Meridian, Mississippi. Obviously a small town, but he really gained his confidence the second half of this season when he played without Buck Johnson in the lineup. Really came through.
Really surprised the coaches the way he's filled in for Bobby Lee Hurt.
No doubt about it. Lifted some weights. He's gotten a little stronger. He can play.
McKee hits them both, and it's 4-2, and here comes full court pressure from the Crimson Tide. Douglas, they've got to worry about the 10-second count, and they beat it by 2. Norman with his first bucket.
Very nicely done by the Fighting Illini. Moved the ball very well.
Connor tries to push it up court, but Illinois got back on defense in a hurry that time.
Look for Bama to test the Illini in their ball handling.
Derek McKee.
The difference between McKee last year and this year is like night and day. He is really playing as some poised basketball player, and believe it or not, the best basketball is ahead of him.
McKee has 4 of Alabama's 6 points, and they lead 6-4.
Good matchup there of McKee and Norman.
Blackwell looks inside. And we got a foul away from the ball, and they're going to get Jim Farmer for holding inside, I believe, he or Godfrey.
I believe they did get Farmer, as we mentioned before. He is a Rambo style of player, not afraid to mix it up at all.
Scott Mentz comes into the ball game for the first time. Senior out of Kankakee, Illinois, 6'10", 230, and he makes Illinois a little tougher up front, physical. And Mentz went for the ball, and Norman got it inside, and we have a jump situation. And let's see who will get the ball on alternating possession. It will go to Alabama.
Good call by the official. Again, Farmer at 6'3", loves to mix it up on the inside. Good hand on the ball, and the official really made a great call that time as opposed to a foul.
My mistake, Illinois basketball, and Douglas gives it off to Blackwell. Douglas does all the little things for Illinois that don't show up in the box score.
Zone defense on the part of Bama, again, respecting the height advantage of Illinois.
Douglas with a pump fake, and then he threw it away. Thought Welch was still there, but he disappeared. To update you on a score from last night in North Carolina. Struggled for a while, but beat Alabama Birmingham 77-59. It looks like the Tar Heels are healthy again under Dean Smith.
They're going to have an outstanding game. Good matchup with Louisville. I think Louisville is playing exceptionally well.
6'4", Alabama. This is Gottfried, another good outside shooter, and the junior from Mobile ties it at 6.
Again, while both teams have their best players on the inside, I firmly believe that a perimeter shooter could, in fact, be the difference in this game to try to pull the inside play out.
8-4, Alabama. Welch inside to Mentz. Mentz had it blocked from behind by Terry Connor, the little man.
Well, it was obvious. He gets off of his feet very quickly. Bama is going to have to do a much better job of preventing that entry pass into the seam of the zone because the big fellas from Illinois will take advantage of him.
Tried to get it in right under the hoop that time, and here comes the tide again. Connor on the run. Douglas has done a pretty good job at not allowing him down the middle.
Excellent defensive ball player. His responsibility is to keep Connor out in front of him, and Douglas can certainly do it.
Farmer, number 21, now playing at the top of the key as they try to go inside to McKee, and Scott Mentz reaches over the top.
No need really for Mentz to try and reach over McKee like that. He did not have good defensive position. McKee slightly built. Mentz certainly has a size advantage there.
And they'll get Ephraim Winters back into the ball game, and Mentz will sit down as he picks up his first personal foul. 15:51 to go, first half. Alabama with a 4-point lead and the basketball.
Little time for Winters to sit on the bench and see exactly what was happening and how he could be more effective out there on the court.
Connor guarded by Douglas. Now Farmer comes away outside again.
Zone defense this time by Illinois. They gave it a matchup look.
Godfrey 2 for 2, and it's 10-4 Alabama.
Godfrey could be the man to help pull the big fellas from Illinois out. That would free up the middle and allow Terry Connor to start to penetrate.
Gottfried has been an inconsistent shooter this year, hitting about 48% of his shots from the floor. But when he gets hot, he's another one of those streak shooters. Welch misses again, and the rebound goes to McKee.
Here's that up-tempo we talked about. Connor made his mind up to drive before he got the ball.
It almost cost him, but he gets it to Godfrey. Alabama jumping to a nice early lead here at 10-4.
Matchup zone on the part of Illinois.
Buck Johnson on the floor with it. Illinois fighting hard, and we'll have another jump situation.
Now, I believe Terry Connor really tried to force that situation, getting the ball inside to Buck Johnson. He had 2 men on him. Connor's going to have to make the guys respect him by nailing that shot.
Timeout, Alabama by 6 over Illinois.
Hi, Dad. How you doing?
John, you clown. Come here, you.
You're early.
Yeah, well, I was
This isn't yours.
Yeah, it is.
6,000 STE? You're kidding.
What do you mean?
My dad? A Pontiac 6,000?
That's high-tech stuff.
The fuel-injected V6, right?
Yeah.
4-wheel disc brakes?
Yeah, it's got everything. Listen, come here. I know you've been hitting the books pretty hard. So, let's go for a ride.
All right.
We build excitement of Pontiac.
Presenting 5 incredible things you can do with a new John Deere lawn tractor. You can cut grass more evenly with our new mowing deck. You can get rid of rainwater with our new tip seat. And ride more quietly because we've enclosed the engine. You can even carry heavier loads because we've added more horsepower. But the most incredible thing you can do with a new John Deere tractor is take one home. because we've lowered the price. Isn't that incredible?
We want to live. That is all we want, America. Are we so different from you?
60 Minutes tonight on CBS.
It's been all Alabama in the opening 5 minutes here in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Tide leading Illinois 10-4. And James Brown, I don't think that Illinois has been able to take advantage of their height advantage up front yet.
Not at all, because the Bama players have really been moving the ball up and down the court pretty well and getting some nice outside shooting to take advantage of the fact that Illinois is trying to concentrate on the inside game.
Terry Connor working with it outside, loops it low to McKee. Turnaround jumper far short. Douglas had it, lost it. Good hustle by Jim Farmer. And Connor will set it up again.
Buck Johnson really working hard on the inside, setting picks, moving around nicely. That's why I really feel that he's a lot stronger than he looks. Wirily built, but he is strong.
And the alley-oop inside, a little off, and picked off by Winters. They tried to hit McKee that time. Bruce Douglas. And we'll have the foul inside called on McKee, and that will be number 2 on the sophomore from Meridian, Mississippi.
That's where Bama gets hurt. The 1-2 punch of McKee and Johnson have a tendency to get in foul trouble. McKee, still learning the game, is going to have to make some better basketball decisions. That will come with time and experience.
Here comes Tony Weisinger. The young man really picked up the tempo of Illinois' game in the opening round on Friday night. He'll replace Anthony Welch. So Illinois will be going with a 3-guard offense.
And although Weisinger doesn't start, he gets an awful lot of playing time. Really gives his team an offensive punch.
Blackwell's jumper won't go, and Illinois is ice cold right now, down by 6.
Illinois doing a good job of getting back on defense.
Godfrey, 3 for 3 for Mark Godfrey.
There's that outside shooting. And again, what's working well for Bama, they're pushing the ball up the court. They don't have an easy shot off of the initial break, but the secondary break works well when they kick the ball to Godfrey.
Illinois prides itself on its man-to-man, and the defenders have not been able to get there on that up-tempo offense.
2-1-2 zone defense on the part of Bama with Jim Farmer in the middle.
Weisinger, air ball from the corner. Norman with a follow, and Illinois got a break there.
Now, one of the reasons that Farmer is in the middle in the zone defense is to give Buck Johnson and Derek McKee, the taller players, the opportunity to box out against the much taller guys of Illinois.
Alabama 12, Illinois 6. 13 minutes and 10 seconds to go first half. Farmer is now being guarded by Blackwell. Johnson, oh, what a tough shot, and he got it home.
And he did it with contact, Michael. Nice movement on the inside. Again, take a look at the 2-1-2 zone defense of Bama. Jim Farmer, number 21 in the middle. That gives McKee and Johnson the opportunity to block the bigger guys of the Illini on the outside.
Weisinger out of the corner. Douglas got a hand on it, but it's tipped out by Buck Johnson for Alabama.
Now, even though Bama is playing a zone defense, man-to-man principles still apply. Johnson's got to look for the guy in his area, go find him and block him out.
Douglas gets it low to Winters, gets it right back. Illinois needs somebody to hit a big shot here for them. Cut into this 8-point deficit. And Norman is the man they choose, and he comes up short on the jumper. Here comes Connor. 3-on-3 break, and he still tries to push it up. McKee had it blocked, and the foul is going to go on Ken Norman.
Excellent follow-up by Derek McKee. What's working well, Bama is not giving Illinois a chance to get set defensively, and their quickness. Bama's quickness is paying dividends.
Third team foul against Illinois here in the first half. Alabama has committed 3. 14-6 Crimson Tide. And McKee goes to the line. 4 points on the day. He's already hit 2 of 2 from the stripe. In and out on that one, however. Lou Henson, in 11 years, has won 218 ball games. He's number 9 on the all-time active list of coaches around the country. Done a great job.
Certainly one of the better tactical coaches in college basketball.
And one of the nicer people you would hope to meet.
Indeed, a pleasure, a real pleasure.
Alabama leading 15-6, and Syracuse with a similar lead, 15-7 over Navy. Blackwell left all alone, decides to take the shot and buried it.
I think that's what's going to have to happen for Illinois in order to try to spread that zone defense even more to free up the big guys in the middle. The big guys don't have any open lanes to run to on the offensive end.
Godfrey tried to get it in and did. Here is a steal by Weisinger. And we have another tie-up situation, and the possession arrow will give it back to Illinois.
Excellent example of why a bounce pass is not the most effective pass to use against a zone. It's a little too low. Those quick guards with those blazingly quick hands will get in there and tie a big man up, as you just saw.
And Weisinger did the same thing this afternoon that he did in the opening round game Friday night as Illinois took Fairfield apart. Ephraim Winters with a pump fake. Can't get anybody to go for it. Douglas. Blackwell went for the rebound, but there's Terry Connor again.
Move the ball, Terry.
Gottfried, 4 for 4. The junior from Mobile has 8 points, and Alabama now leads by 9.
Good ball movement and not giving Illini a chance to set up.
70% from the floor for Alabama. They hit 80% the other night against Fairfield. Jumper rims out for Blackwell. Connor with a lot of contact and no whistle. And now he'll back it out.
Good basketball decision. Nothing there. Take your time and set it up.
Alley-oop. Perfect pass. Johnson missed it, but tipped in his own miss.
Terry Connor led the SEC in assists, beat out Roger Harden last week of the season. Got a good indication of why. He really keeps his big guys happy. That keeps them hustling.
Had 227 assists this season. And Alabama now with his biggest lead of the ball game, 19-8. And they lose the ball. It does Illinois.
Pretty soon, if the league continues to expand, Lou Henson is going to be forced to make a decision to play up-tempo basketball. Now, he would like to run, Lou Henson that is, but he feels that his players aren't as effective in an up-tempo game. They've got the athletes, though.
Lou Henson talking to his club on the sideline. Michael Ansley, number 45, is checked in for the first time for Alabama. It's a front court player at 6'7", 215, only a freshman. As Wimp Sanderson goes to his bench, he can afford to, leading by 11 at 19-8. Gottfried now has Weisinger on him. Connor got Welch in the air twice and still made the shot.
We'll talk about patience. Terry Connor knew the pump fake would work. Worked extremely well.
21-8, Alabama over Illinois. And Alabama, JB, has done the job inside, too.
Talked about the inside game working well, but it's been opened up because of the outside shooting of Mark Gottfried.
Weisinger frees Welch from 15. You can't rest against Alabama. They want to push it up every trip. Farmer looking inside.
Bad pass.
Picked off by Blackwell.
Farmer should not have lost his dribble. Cut down on his options.
Weisinger. He was a 60% shooter from the floor before he injured his shoulder. Now down near 50%, but he said he's feeling better. His first 2 of the day, and it's a 9-point lead now.
Now, Bama ought to be able to try and take advantage of Mark Gottfried's size over Weisinger if they can post him up low. Might be a nice little offensive wrinkle.
Farmer back to Gottfried. Another bad pass, and Blackwell with his second straight steal, and then he bounced it off his foot. And Lou Henson says, pick it up. Timeout on the court. Alabama by 9 over Illinois.
Delta gets you there. To Los Angeles, Boston, Chicago, and New York. Also service to all of Florida's major resorts. Delta also gets you to Europe, Hawaii, and the islands. In all, Delta serves more than 100 cities in the U.S. and overseas. Delta gets you there.
Does everybody have to be the same? Do we all have to wear the same kind of trendy clothes, drive the same kind of trendy cars? And you know, if one TV show's a hit, there's going to be 4 more just like it. I mean, hey, what's going on here? This is America. Doesn't anyone want to be different anymore? Less heavy, never bitter, easy drinking. Sometimes different means just plain better.
The defending champion, Katarina Witt. The U.S. national champion, Debbie Thomas. The World Figure Skating Championships on CBS Sports Saturday and Sunday.
8 minutes and 46 seconds to go in the first half of play in Charlotte, North Carolina. Alabama continues on top of Illinois 21-12. And Alabama with a hot shooting day here. What about the other night against Xavier? They shot 80% in the second half, and Xavier didn't have a chance. And today, Alabama just under 70 right now, 69%. 6 times already this year, they have shot better than 70% in a single half. And you do that, and the other team starts scratching its head, wondering what it can do. And they're doing it against an Illinois team that prides itself so much on man-to-man defense.
Well, 2 things are going to have to maintain themselves. One, Bama's going to have to keep the up-tempo, which definitely favors Johnson and McKee. And those 2 guys are going to have to be smart and not get in foul trouble.
Here comes Blackwell on the break. Has to hold up and kicks it back out to Weisinger. Bruce Douglas is the guard not on the court right now, so Lou Henson back to a more conventional lineup, and Weisinger burns him from the top of the circle.
Boy, excellent insertion of Weisinger. He's certainly burning them nicely. Still a very dangerous offensive weapon, though he's still bothered somewhat by that dislocated shoulder problem he had.
21-14, the lead for Alabama now 7 points.
Weisinger definitely has a speed advantage in that matchup with Gottfried.
Illinois' defense picking up. Norman almost had the steal from Buck Johnson.
Ken Norman doing an excellent job defensively. He's leaning on Buck Johnson, and I'm wondering if that's going to take its toll in terms of Johnson being fatigued down the stretch.
Illinois fighting for those loose balls inside, and Michael Ansley is the young man who gets it, the all-SEC freshman team member, and he gets his first 2 points. The lead is back to 9.
One of the reasons he's in there is because he's an excellent rebounder and a very solidly built body, so they're going to need that to bang against the strong guys from Illinois.
This is Welch, who was so effective from that spot the other day. Can't hit a thing right now. Tried to save it, stepped on the end line. James, the last 3 or 4 trips down court, Illinois' defense is trying to increase the tempo. They've knocked away several balls, and a couple of others have come loose that Alabama got back.
That's the way to get back in the ball game. When your offensive action isn't working well, you get back in the game with defense, which always is a constant.
And now Lou Henson will put Welch on the bench, brings Douglas back in, and will go with a quicker 3-guard lineup, maybe trying to force some more pressure.
You notice how Bruce Douglas is laying far off of Terry Connor. He knows Connor's not going to be a threat out there. That allows the defense to sag in the middle.
Buck Johnson with a long-range shot that kicks out of bounds, and Illinois will have it. They're down by 9. Another update on Syracuse and Navy. And Syracuse, who had handled the midshipmen very well during the regular season, continue to lead by 7 in the first half. Our score has Alabama up by 9. Mike Patrick along with James Brown. Glad to have you with us from Charlotte, North Carolina. This is Weisinger to Douglas, who has not looked for a shot very much in this first half. Blackwell, way short. And here comes a 2-on-1 break. Gottfried lost it out of bounds. Good defense by Weisinger.
Weisinger definitely enjoys the quickness and speed advantage there. Good hands, good alert defense as he kept Gottfried in front of him. And take a look at those hands. Excellent move.
May have gotten a piece of the wrist on that one, too.
Well, that's customary in the Big Ten. They play physically.
McKee is back in the middle for Alabama, the young man with the basketball right now, number 31.
Wimp Sanderson doing his best to try to keep his troops fresh, especially the big guys, McKee and Johnson. Ansley did a nice job while he was in there. Didn't hurt him at all.
Gottfried can't get away from Weisinger, and back to Connor. Farmer, and we've got a push-off inside. It's going to be against Norman, and that'll be Ken Norman's second personal foul.
Again, the Illini disrespecting the outside shooting ability of Bama by laying inside there, allowing the outside shot, with the exception, of course, of
Gottfried, who is 4 for 4, and now Weisinger is on him like a cheap suit. Coming in for the second time in the ballgame, Scott Mintz, number 30, as Lou Henson alters his line of trying to find the right combination, and Ken Norman will sit down with 2 personal fouls at the 6-11 mark.
They continue to bring the big bodies in to work on the slightly built guys of Bama.
Slightly built or not, they find a way to get it done inside, don't they?
You can't teach quickness, and that's certainly what Bama has.
Johnson with the off-balance jumper, Mintz with a rebound.
Not a particularly good shot by Buck that time. Didn't have his body square with the basket.
Douglas calls the play. We're inside 6 minutes in the first half. Mintz jump hook short, and the rebound of McKee.
Different defensive wrinkle by Bama. Illinois can exploit it.
Connor leads into a tough shot. It won't go. Blackwell banged into by McKee, and that will be number 3 on Derek McKee.
When I mentioned basketball decisions, making good basketball decisions, that was an indication of what I meant. Not a good decision on McKee's part. No chance for that rebound, and he's hurting the team by walking to the side.
It's only the 4th team foul against Alabama. Unfortunately for Wimp Sanderson, 3 of them have come against his starting center. And there is Ansley back in the ballgame as they'll have to go with the 6'7" freshman up front. Alabama continues to lead by 9. Douglas got into the lane, but the shot won't go for him. And that's Jackson into the ball game for the first time. The junior from Montgomery outruns everybody.
Quickness is his forte, and that's what Bama's going to have to do to get the up-tempo going.
Lou Henson said he's seen enough. His team is down by 11.
This weekend, I'm seeing Rhonda. I got the Camaro. I'm seeing the folks, so I got a Chevette. My sister's in town this weekend with their kids.
You need a big car.
For just the right car, ask National for their low weekend rates, starting as low as $21.95 a day for an economy car like the Chevrolet Chevette.
For my class reunion, the Cadillac.
Weekends, it pays to get national attention.
You know, life's too short to worry about impressing other people. I mean, have you ever been really impressed by a person's credit card? What matters about a credit card is how it impresses me. MasterCard gives me what I want, and anything is possible. It goes where I want to go. Could be Timbuktu. When I want, day or night. Don't talk to me about impressions. Give me possibilities. MasterCard. Master the possibilities.
It's Alabama by 11 and James Brown. It's the Alabama fast break that's done the damage.
That's the asset that's going to have to work well for Bama in order to maintain the lead. Good quickness being displayed, and the youngster, Jackson, James Jackson, good speed up front. If they can continue to run like that, pick up some easy baskets, then that puts the pressure on Illinois and tries to force them into an up-tempo game, which they don't like.
5 minutes, 18 seconds to go in the first half. Alabama has led virtually all the way. They opened it up early. They've been led in scoring so far by Gottfried, who has 8 points on 4 for 4 shooting. Surprisingly, Farmer, who had 24 in the first round, hasn't even had a shot here in this game.
Well, he's been working overtime on defense. Let me tell you, he's doing an outstanding job, though.
Alabama has done a great job, and it usually goes this way on the boards. When they out-rebound the other team, they win. When they don't, they usually lose. And right now, they have a big advantage on Illinois.
Well, they understand how important that is, because in the 5 games this year that Illinois has been out-rebounded, they lost 4. Illinois, that is.
Blackwell. They just can't hit. Tipped in by Welch.
The defense has got to block out higher. That's where you miss McKee in terms of his size. Illinois players are good leapers, quick leapers at that.
To whistle away from the ball with a holding foul on Anthony Welch. That'll be his first. We'll keep you updated on all scores throughout the afternoon. Let's take a look and see what's happening again with Syracuse and Navy. And the midshipmen have cut it to 4 in the first half. Weisinger's back in the ball game.
I was really surprised to see him on the bench for those few seconds. Maybe just need to catch his breath. That's going to be a speed demon matchup there. Weisinger and James Jackson.
Quick on quick. A 9-point lead for Alabama. This is Connor and Jackson. Alley-oop and jammed by Johnson. He's got 8, James.
Good pass, good patience on the offensive end, and again, what makes Johnson so tough is he moves well without the ball. Now, a 1-2-2 defensive alignment with Farmer out front, respecting the shooting ability now with Weisinger in there.
And Weisinger gets free at the baseline and cuts it to 27-18. Weisinger has 6 off the Illinois bench.
One of the reasons that Bama went to the 1-2-2 is because Weisinger was burning them from the point, so they've got Farmer out front to try and take that away. What does Weisinger do? He goes to the corner.
Alabama not with a great outside shooting lineup now with Gottfried not in there, but they've got Johnson.
there was some concern, some question in some pro scouts' minds about the durability of Buck Johnson. He's not been injured. As you can see by his first half display, he works well in heavy traffic.
Weisinger free on the baseline again, doesn't take it this time. Welch has been cold, but got that one. 29-20, Alabama over Illinois with 3:22 and counting in the first half. Connor brings it slowly across the timeline. This is Farmer. Jackson left alone and wants a better shot and got it.
Good patience, good shooting. When Alabama doesn't have the break, they really are showing some good judgment by setting up and running through their options. And again, even in a half-court game, their quickness on offense is working well for them.
You might remember that name, Jackson from West Texas State University. As here is a missed shot, and Welch gets his own rebound.
Good hustle.
And it paid off for Welch. Jackson transferred from West Texas State University. He was an honorable mention All-American there. Great shooter and scorer. And there is a difference, isn't there?
No question about it. There are not very many good pure shooters around. A lot of good scorers.
31-22 Alabama. This is Jackson. He left that program, incidentally, because it dropped from Division 1A status. Jackson back outside. Farmer has his first two and clinches the fist.
Nice patience on the part of Bama. I continue to say that Illinois really concerned about Bama's attempt to get the ball on the inside. Their good, quick ball movement is setting up some good perimeter shots.
Ken Norman really hasn't had a crack at the ball inside very often at all today. Winters with an offensive rebound. Has another one. And went down, and they're going to call a foul on Michael Ansley.
Good call.
At the conclusion of every CBS Sports NCAA tournament broadcast, we'll be selecting a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields.
Winters is such a physically strong ball player. It's going to be incumbent upon the Bama players to block him out high.
Welch out of the corner, won't go. Connor with great vision, looking up court all the time. Douglas on him.
And you better be careful with Douglas on him. Assists, or rather steals leader.
Navy has taken the lead over the Orange Men of Syracuse, 24-23. Robinson with 5 blocks in that ball game for Navy. What a player he is.
The midshipmen on a mission. They felt last year they just got a taste of it. They want to go further this year.
Farmer inside, battling his way at 6'3". Can't get the bucket, but apparently he'll draw the foul inside. He's just a tough kid.
He's done a lot of things up to this point in the game that don't show up in the stats column. He was in the middle on that 2-1-2 zone defense, principally to plug up the hole in the middle, which is the Achilles tendon against any zone. And he was blocking out the big guys, Winters and Norman.
Scott Mentz will come back in for Illinois. Welch will sit down.
Welch did a very nice job while he was in there. Does a nice job of following his shots. The best person on the floor to determine where a shot is going to go off is the guy who shot the ball.
Keep in mind, Alabama is doing this, a 33-22 lead with their starting center, Derek McKee, on the bench with 3 fouls. Weisinger, with that cat-quick move, has another loose ball. In a very fast first half. Douglas. Here's Ken Norman, had it slapped away. Douglas gets it back and put it in. 47 seconds to go in the first half. Illinois has cut the lead to 9.
Douglas this year plays a very controlled style of basketball. We mentioned before, a great scorer as a sophomore. He does not have the same stats that he did as a sophomore, but he's doing more for Coach Henson.
Illinois sitting back, and now we'll just allow Alabama to wait for the last shot with 24 seconds on the clock. Only a 2-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock, which is now at 17 seconds.
And smartly so on the part of the Crimson Tide. Offensively, they've been trying to work the Buck Johnson on the inside with Derek McKee out. Johnson's been carrying the load nicely.
You see the clock in the lower right-hand portion of your screen, and this is Farmer trying to drive the baseline. He stepped out of bounds. So Illinois will get one last crack at it with 5 seconds left. Weisinger going to force him to take up time dribbling. He cuts loose from 35, almost got it. That's the end of the first half here in Charlotte with our score. Alabama 33, Illinois 24. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Hey, Joe, look who's here.
Hey, Bob, Tony! What's this? My new Sunbird GT. It's turbocharged. Oh, he makes a little money, and now he's a big shot. Ah, wasn't that much. How much?
Pontiac Sunbird, huh?
Well, what do you think? Well, I don't know.
I'd have to drive it. Sure you can handle it?
Give me the keys.
We build excitement, Pontiac.
Dear, beloved Uncle Dwight. He certainly had a lot of friends.
The Pruitts drove all the way from Alaska.
What?
Alaska.
Oh, Alaska. I counted license plates from 18 different states.
Hey, Earl, what kind of motor oil do you use?
Motor oil is motor oil.
What?
Motor oil is motor oil.
Oh, yes, he is.
Motor oil definitely is not motor oil. Four-cylinder cars work harder and need specially formulated Valvoline 4-Guard. Don't drive your car to an early grave.
In Alamance County, North Carolina, Honda lawnmowers are assembled from the wheels up. Beginning with the Honda overhead valve engine, each precision part is fitted and assembled to exacting tolerances. Then, the final critical step that determines whether a machine will meet the Honda standard. The Clara Johnson test. If Clara pulls and it starts, it's a Honda.
Ship it.
The Honda lawnmower. It's easy to start, or else.
From Sidney Sheldon's bestseller, her first love was living dangerously. Her second was getting away with it. Tonight, If Tomorrow Comes.
This is CBS.
17 years before the first Mazda, 18 years before the first Toyota, Isuzu built the first car in Japan. Unfortunately, Japan hadn't built its roads. Today, the Isuzu Trooper 2 can drive like a car, climb like a goat, and work like a mule, all at the same time. Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan.
The versatile Trooper 2, 3 cars in one for under $10,000.
For a beautiful lawn, pick Pennington, the pen-coated seed. Longer, stronger root systems give you a hardy lawn in sun and shade. Pick pen-coated Pennington, the better lawn seed.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger. So Illinois down by 13, cuts it to 9 at the half. But up in Syracuse, take a look at this score. Navy, led by their sensational center, Dave Robinson, and now they are tied with the Orangemen at 26 as Syracuse hits a free throw. Yes, the Pearl Washington has had some great moments. Watch him go coast to coast and split the Navy defense for this. But the man of the moment is Robinson. And watch this 2-block sequence. There's number 1. He's out of bounds. Now, Trish is underneath, along with Alexis, and Robinson slaps another one away, and they are deadlocked with Syracuse, and the Orangemen just added the second free throw, so now they lead at 27-26. The last game played last night was out west in the West region, and North Carolina pounded UAB 77-59. Steve Mitchell had a horrendous shooting game. He was 3 of 21, 1 of 6 for the line. UAB just couldn't get anything done. Watch this reverse layup by Steve Hale. This gave the Heels a 15-point lead. More of the same in the second half for Dean Smith. They'll come backdoor, and here comes their splendid point guard, Kenny Smith, for the slam. And, of course, next on Thursday night, North Carolina and Louisville down in Houston. We'll continue on the road to Dallas here on CBS in just a moment.
To put on a successful theatrical production, it takes a lot of skilled and talented people. It's the same with providing quality communication service. At AT&T, there are thousands of people working to make our services the best in the industry. In phones, long distance, business systems, and computers. When it comes to serving you better, AT&T people are a tough act to follow.
Whether it's telephones, long-distance services, information systems, or computers, AT&T, the right choice.
Mr. Goodwrench has the right tools available. Tools of the science of automotive service. Advanced, sensitive, accurate, strong and simple, or complex, like electronic eyes that probe the mysteries of your car. These are the tools that understand and fix. These are the tools of Mr. Goodwrench. And no one knows your GM car better. No one.
Important medical news for sufferers of acid indigestion. Now, a new survey has revealed that doctors prefer the relief formula in Rolaids over the formula in Tums. Rolaids antacid medicine first consumes all the acid required to bring millions 100% relief, and then keeps on working to help keep your stomach trouble-free. Treat the pain and burn of excess stomach acid with serious medicine. Remember, doctors prefer the relief formula in Rolaids over the formula in Tums.
I love watching old Florida State football films. I get such a kick out of watching this stuff. Hey, that's me, number 46. Look at that kid go. Almost got me there. What moves? What a running back. And now here comes my greatest moment of glory. Some things are too good to last. My longest yards against Auburn University. You know, I was always trying to be a hit back then. On the football field, off the football field, wherever. Maybe you're trying to be a hit now, too. There's no easy way. You got to work for it. I'll tell you one thing. Drugs is not the answer. Not then, not now. I've seen it all too often in this business, in sports, with teenagers. Nobody ends up a winner with drugs. It takes guts to be a winner. And when you reach your goal, it's great to know that you did it on your own. After all, you can't be a hit when you're high.
Something to think about from the NCAA.
Welcome back to New York. You know, earlier in the week, there was a lot of talk that with a field of 64, some of the teams at the bottom didn't belong in this tournament. Well, 1 week later, not only have a few talented but unheralded squads gained a measure of national recognition, but their fans are also enjoying the last laugh in such unlikely meccas of college basketball as Little Rock and Cleveland.
Friday afternoon in Cleveland, and Cleveland State shocks mighty Indiana.
They were dancing in the streets Friday night on Euclid Avenue. It was a great win over a big-name team. They're the prime-time people. We're the off-Broadway people. It was super for our fans. It was super for the school. The kids just wanted a piece of the big names.
Tiny Arkansas Little Rock also took out a big name Friday. They ambushed Notre Dame.
It was a big win for the program. That means a lot for our conference, the Trans-American Athletic Conference, because it's the first time that a conference team has won a game in the first round.
A commuter school without an athletic tradition, Little Rock has never even sold out a home game. But now that big victory over the Fighting Irish may change that. Already the team has begun dreaming of Dallas and the Final Four. And maybe even sellouts at home.
They thought that just because they were Notre Dame, it was going to come out and not play them as hard. But, you know, we was on a mission, and we trying to complete that mission.
We believe in ourselves and just keep the positive attitude and just go out and keep playing our game. We could be a Cinderella team and probably Villanova.
But even if they don't go all the way, they've at least begun to get some of the recognition they so desire.
Instead of Arkansas Little Rock, before long, we'll be known as UALR. And, you know, everybody used to be Alabama, Birmingham. Now you say UAB, and everybody knows what they're talking about. That's what we're shooting for.
Cleveland State beat Bob Knight with a freelance, almost playground attack, adding insult to injury as far as the disciplined Hoosiers are concerned.
I think it was a success story for our style of play. We have a style that's completely opposite from Coach Knight's. I have tremendous respect for Coach Knight's philosophy and his system, but there is another way to play the game.
And if they can raise their game yet another notch, they'll wind up in a regional semifinal.
It's been a magic carpet ride, the whole NCAA, and hopefully we can continue to ride that magic carpet.
Now, of course, Western Kentucky University also has a meeting against Kentucky. Those two schools have played each other only once in their history. That was 1971. Western Kentucky a winner. They were led by big Jim McDaniel, and of course, they wound up playing in the Final Four. Now, we're going to send you back to the game you're enjoying here on CBS right after this.
Thank you very much, Brandon. It's a 33-24 Alabama over Illinois score here in Charlotte, North Carolina. James Brown and Mike Patrick with you. Glad you could be with us again today for the NCAA Championship. Alabama has done it in every phase of the game here in the first half, JB.
Coach Wimp Sanderson has no reason to be displeased with what his team has been doing. They've accomplished everything, including keeping Illinois out of the paint, Michael.
And they have been able to run. They haven't scored so much off of the real fast break, but the secondary fast break, they've gotten a lot of points.
Well, I think the graphics will show it that Alabama has really only picked up 4 points off of the fast break, but that's somewhat deceptive. They've gotten more points off of the secondary break, not an initial shot, but the second shot, not giving Illinois a chance to set up.
And inside, they have really done the job.
And the key to that is that Alabama has gotten a lot of shots off of that break, the secondary break. Illinois has not been able to do anything on the inside because of that 2-1-2 zone defense by Alabama. Jim Farmer's the key there.
Their shooting has been helped, too, because Gottfried was 4 for 4 from the outside. Alabama now shooting 60% overall. When you shoot well outside, it opens up the inside.
You and I talked before about how an outside shooter, a perimeter shooter, will perhaps be the difference in the game. It certainly was in the first half with Mark Gottfried.
A little surprised that Illinois wasn't able to pick up the tempo itself a little?
Well, they would like to run, but Coach Henson really tries to keep the troops reined in somewhat. Alabama's got the quickness advantage, Mike, and that's what worked well for them.
Let's take a look inside at one of the great passes that we had in the first half.
I tell you, McKee and Buck Johnson on the inside, they move extremely well. Buck Johnson particularly does a nice job of getting on the inside. Ansley did a nice job of setting the pick for him that time.
It's Alabama by 9. The coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship continues after this message in your local station.
Presenting the Honda 4Trax. Only from Honda.
When those that are kept apart finally come together, it's not just good, it's fantastic. McDonald's new McDLT.
My son, Jamie, will never walk, but he's learned to deal with his disability with the help of the Easter Seal Rehabilitation Team. They gave him the emotional boost he needed to carry on his fight for independence. I do not believe Jamie would be the intelligent, optimistic, and outgoing little boy he is today if so many caring people had not been involved in his critical early development. That's why I feel I owe Easter Seals Jamie's life.
To Peerless Faucet, durability means solid brass, resilient copper, and stainless steel construction. It also means if you install your Peerless washerless faucet today, it will not only still be working in the year 2001, it will still be under warranty. Peerless do-it-yourself faucets. Install in no time and last a long time.
Another Final Four approaching, and you're stuck at home again. Next year, there's only one place to be for this basketball classic. Celebrate the Final Four in New Orleans. Find out how to order your 87 Final Four tickets. Write the NCAA or call 913-362-1987. Call today, 913-362-1987, and we'll see you in New Orleans.
This message furnished by the NCAA.
At halftime, Alabama leading Illinois 33-24 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
There are lots of new things going on in healthcare. And this new healthcare can be good if there's someone who really cares for you. That's why nearly 80 million people carry the Blue Cross and Blue Shield card. But this message isn't for those who do. It's for those who don't.
This is Brush Plus from Gillette. A shaving concentrate and brush in one. A brush to lift whiskers, a concentrate to soften them. A shave that is superior. Brush Plus for a superior shave.
Hey, where did you learn about computers?
In the Army.
You were in the Army, too?
Qualify for the GI Bill and the Army College Fund, and you can earn over $25,000 for college.
What you do in the Army?
Airborne.
You used to jump out of airplanes?
This is CBS.
The black Cadillac, please. Right away, sir.
Excuse me. I believe that's my Buick.
Today, it's not easy to distinguish yourself from the crowd.
This my Cadillac? No, it's an Oldsmobile. Thing.
The Lincoln Town Car, please. Yes, sir.
But the Lincoln Town Car stands apart. And whether you choose it for its unparalleled spaciousness or graceful ride, you'll know there's nothing like a Lincoln.
See your Southern Lincoln Mercury dealer.
On Palm Sunday, March 23rd, volunteers in Davidson County and most other counties in this area will ask you to buy paper. Please respond generously. Let's keep Children's Hospital growing.
Today's Southeast Region second-round game is sponsored by AT&T. In long-distance services, information systems, telephones, and computers, AT&T is the right choice. Exceptionally smooth Michelob. Where you're going, it's Michelob. And by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to live the style, performance, and fun of Chevrolet in '86.
We're set to go with the second half here at Charlotte, North Carolina, the Southeast region, a second-round game between Alabama and Illinois, and the Crimson Tide is leading it by 9. James Brown, what do you think Illinois will be able to do in the second half to make up that deficit?
One thing the Illini will have to do is find some way to free up their inside guys. Their strength is inside. Coach Henson, I'm sure, talked to his guys about perhaps employing some man-to-man offensive principles, Mike. You can still set screens and picks to try and free a guy up on the inside.
And Wim Sanderson for Alabama keeps Derek McKee, his sophomore center, on the bench. He picked up 3 personal fouls in the first half. Right now, up by 9, they don't need him. Connor looking inside. Now Johnson comes outside to get the ball. Norman is on him in the Illinois man-to-man. Connor back to Gottfried, who was perfect from the floor in the first half. Buck Johnson, nice pass back outside, and Connor in and out on the jumper.
An ugly-looking shot by Connor. He has a tendency to be a streak shooter. He's going to have to connect on that.
Douglas had an open 15-footer, didn't want it, instead inside, and knocked away from Ephraim Winters. Gottfried surprised by the pass, and then made a nice move to the baseline, missed his first shot. Weisinger, boy, this kid is quick.
You know, Coach Henson mentioned that he'd like to run more up-tempo, but he doesn't think his team is effective at it. I personally feel they've got the athletes to do it. And fast-breaking transition game is nothing more than mindset and drilling your guys to be effective at it.
They've got the potential, of course, with Weisinger in there.
He can run with the best.
Only 5'10", 155 pounds.
But it runs about 120 miles an hour.
5 years ago, you didn't see guys under 6 feet in college basketball anymore. Now it's become a trend. Weisinger with a rebound. He does it all.
Looks like one of the decisions that Coach Henson made was to pick up the tempo.
Weisinger buries the jumper. 33-28. Illinois pulls within 5. And 10 points for Tony Weisinger off the bench. Wim Sanderson up calling out instructions to his Alabama club. They have not scored so far here in the second half. Weisinger reached in, almost got it away from Johnson.
Weisinger is one real little pest.
Connor leans into one. Tough shot by Terry Connor.
That's where he's most effective. It's going to be interesting to see which side starts to take advantage in terms of the Weisinger-Gottfried matchup. Now, there's the 1-2-2 zone defense. Farmer out front. But that frees the middle up, and Illinois is just too big and physical on the inside to leave that middle open, which I mentioned before. That's the Achilles heel of any zone defense.
That was Ken Norman, Illinois' leading scorer. He now has only 6 points yet, his first 2 of the second half. Weisinger in less than 3 minutes has 4 points and 3 rebounds, and now he has a personal foul. So he reached in and got Michael Ansley. Here's Wimp Sanderson, and if anybody ever paid their dues, has 20 years as an assistant coach at Alabama, got the shot at the head coaching job, and he's made the most of it.
Loyalty in capital letters and exclamation points.
Connor. And Illinois has done a good job at keeping him out of the inside. Farmer will take one from 17, buried it and drew the foul. And Welch raises the hand. That will be number 3 on Anthony Welch.
Little subtle thing that Farmer did in the triple threat position, he actually froze Welch in a squatting position that enabled him to get the jumper off nicely.
37-30, Alabama challenged by Illinois, and they've responded.
Triple threat, of course, meaning that he could either drive, pass, or shoot the ball in that nice athletic stance he was in.
This is Anthony Welch. He'll leave the game with 3 fouls, and Glenn Blackwell, number 21, is back in for Lou Henson's Illini.
As rugged a ball player as Farmer is, he worked with weights in the offseason to make himself even stronger.
Shows.
No doubt.
Blackwell in and out on the free throw. It's a 7-point Alabama lead. Illinois with the ball. Ephraim Winters to Douglas. Weisinger, he's been hot. And the young man from Peoria trying to drag this club back by himself.
Wimp Sanderson may have to make a substitution and put in someone like James Jackson to try and hound Weisinger.
This is Ansley. Farmer wanted the ball underneath. Connor penetrating, tough pass, a great catch by Farmer.
Looked as if it was going to be a shot, which I think was a key to why that pass worked so well. And Farmer moving well without the ball. Now notice they go back to a 2-1-2. Now they're plugging the middle up, and what happens?
Douglas left alone, and he hits the jumper, 39-34. Tempo really picking up, the intensity on both ball clubs. Connor calls out the play.
One thing Illinois can do is make their shots, and that'll keep the fast break from materializing for Bama.
Johnson in the lane, and he was shoved by Ken Norman. That will be number 3 on Ken Norman. Anthony Welch already on the bench with 3. On Alabama's bench, Derek McKee with 3 personal fouls.
Well, the pressure's going to stay on Norman because Buck Johnson moves so well without the ball. He's going to continue to try to get free on the inside.
Gottfried, who does not penetrate that often, a good outside shooter, kicks it back out to Connor.
One thing I haven't talked about, a calculated move on the part of Wimp Sanderson by not having McKee in there to pick up an early 4th foul. They'll need his offensive explosiveness later on.
Illinois defense strips it away inside from Ansley. Weisinger on the run. Douglas, nice fake, and a good pass. Norman hits the jumper. This is as close as it's been in a long time. 39-36. Ken Norman has 8 points. The Illini down by 3 with 15-19 left.
That later on might be right now in terms of bringing McKee back in there.
At the half, Navy, led by David Robinson, over Syracuse at Syracuse. Connor misses the outside jumper. And Alabama out-hustles Illinois for the loose ball. Connor trying to penetrate again, and they cut him off at the baseline.
Important that Connor does not lose confidence because he hasn't nailed a couple of shots.
And we've got an offensive foul called on Buck Johnson. That's his first. We've got a timeout on the court. It's Alabama, but only by 3.
Now, almost every new car and truck that's made Chevrolet America's first choice is available with low 9.9 financing on new Corvettes and Camaros, Caprice and 4-cylinder Celebrities, Cavaliers and Spectrums, plus S10 Blazers and pickups, Astro Cargo and full-size cargo vans, 10 and 20 series full-size pickups, 9.9 financing on almost every new car and truck that has made Chevrolet #1. 9.9 financing, now on today's Chevrolets.
Where you going, it's Michelob. There's a style in your life.
Hi. I'm glad you're here.
Hey, how did the doors turn out? Oh, right. Where you going, you always go.
No other beer is brewed and aged like exceptionally smooth Michelob.
Where you going, it's Michelob.
The premier field in tournament golf. one of the tour's most challenging courses. The Tournament Players Championship in 2 weeks on CBS Sports.
14:53 left in the game, and Illinois digging itself out of a hole trails Alabama by only 3 points right now. And James, they've done it the only way you can. You just make everything in sight.
Well, their field goal percentage has certainly increased considerably. They're 6 from the field, but give a lot of credit, a lot of the big credit to the little man, Weisinger. He single-handedly has come in and has shot the Illini back into contention.
He certainly changes the tempo. Illinois with the basketball. Well, bucket here could cut the lead to 1.
Bama trying to throw a little wrinkle, trying to confuse the Illini with the defensive alignment. They go back to a 1-2-2, but once the ball goes to the wing, Farmer has got to get in the middle.
And back in for the first time in the second half is number 31, Derek McKee. And this foul is going to go on Farmer, reaching in. That'll be number 2 on the junior from Dothan, Alabama.
Michael, what's happening when Farmer is out at the point on the 1-2-2? He's not getting back quickly enough once the ball goes to the wing. That's allowing Illinois enough time to pop one of their big, strong guys into the middle. You can't do anything once they get the ball.
And yet in the first half, they were so successful when he was in the paint.
Plugging that hole up, keeping the big guys from coming into the middle.
Douglas and Weisinger, the Illinois guards. This is Weisinger. Ephraim Winters turnaround jumper won't go. Loose ball knocked out to Alabama.
Important that Derek McKee get back into the flow of things quickly. That certainly gives Bama 2 offensive weapons to make use of on the offensive end down low. Important that he gets back into momentum quickly.
Terry Connor gives it to Farmer. This is Godfrey. Looks for that shot. Can't hit it. Rebound to Johnson.
Weisinger really putting some pressure on Godfrey. Godfrey is better once he collects his feet and he's got himself established. He cannot shoot that well on the move.
Great stationary shot, but you're right. Weisinger can give him fits. There's Farmer's jumper, won't go. McKee with the offensive rebound.
Well, we said get back in stride quickly. Good start.
Derek McKee has 7 points, and the lead is 5 for Alabama. Norman comes out high to get it, low to Winters. Weisinger from long range. Boy, is Tony Weisinger giving this club a lift. 14 points off the bench.
That's amazing. A 5'10" number 2 guard, an off guard.
I love it. Blackwell comes out of the ball game. Sounds like deja vu to me. 41-38 Alabama leading by 3. They have the basketball. Syracuse and Navy have started the second half. In case you joined us late, Navy leading by a point there. McKee, tough shot, leaned into it. Rebound to Ephraim Winters.
Up tempo.
Here's the guy who's made the difference. Tony Weisinger has 16 points. The most he has ever scored in the game is 19, and we've got 12 and a half minutes left.
I think folks are going to have to take a look at what he had in his Gatorade. He has outscored the entire Alabama bench by himself.
Well, he's outscored everybody. He's the leading scorer on the court with 16 points. This is the closest Illinois has been since we were tied at 4. Farmer gives him a little more breathing room. He had not been scoring as many points lately, but Farmer has 8 today on a 12.6 average for the season. Had a huge game against Xavier here on Friday night with 24. Weisinger gets the ball again, but he won't have the chance to put it up as we have a foul before the shot. One of the credos is get the ball to the man that's hot, and Weisinger has hit 8 out of 11. That's James Jackson, and you can look for James Jackson to end up on Tony Weisinger.
We had talked about that possibly being a matchup that we would have seen or might have seen a lot sooner than now. It's going to be awfully tough to cool him down because Weisinger has got his confidence, and he's extremely dangerous with the ball, although they have Bruce Douglas at the point.
Scott Mentz is back in the ball game for Illinois. Big front line reserve player. Douglas gets it outside. It's a 43-40 Alabama lead with 12 minutes to go. Weisinger. And it's tipped in. And Illinois is back within a point again. That time, Weisinger had Derek McKee come out of.
The quietness is kept. Bruce Douglas is doing a nice job of finding Weisinger wherever he is in his favorite spot.
Anthony Welch now with 10 points for Illinois. Farmer caught in the air, had to give it up.
Got to pump bacon.
McKee, line drive jumper won't go, and Norman rips down the rebound.
And with each Bama miss, the Illini defense gets stronger.
Illinois with a chance to lead, and Mintz puts it in. And there's a smile plastered all over the face of Tony Weisinger, who hit him with a perfect pass.
I was about to mention, who did the pass come from? Single-handedly.
The Illinois crowd on its feet. Connor trying to create something in the lane, and Mintz with the rebound.
Now, Alabama's starting to lose its poise and patience. They cannot do that. When they come down, if the initial or secondary break is not there, you've got to set up your offense and run through your options.
10 minutes, 53 seconds left in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Welch double team, lean through it. Tip is kept alive, and the loose ball will go to Alabama. Connor leans into one, didn't get the bucket, but he will draw the foul, and Bruce Douglas says, who me?
That's Bama's best game, pushing the ball up the court, not giving the Illini a chance to set up.
The field goal percentage almost exactly reversed in the case of Illinois and Alabama in their first and second half shooting, 36-35. But Illinois is lighting it up here in the second half, 75% of their shots.
In parentheses, next to 75% ought to be
Weisinger. Connor at the free throw line, and there's the young man we're talking about, a junior from Peoria, suffered a dislocated shoulder in the second Big Ten game of the season, was shooting beautifully until that point. His shooting has fallen off. Alabama regains the lead as Connor calmly puts down a pair of free throws.
And the guy, 5'10", kicks the ball over to the guy, 6'3".
Says, hey, you handle it, I'm the shooter. Mintz way outside. Good feed to Norman in the paint. Missed the shot, got his rebound, but I think he pushed off to do it. And that will be number 4 on Ken Norman. He was frustrated at the first miss, JB.
Indeed. It's a shame he really picked up the foul, because the Illini are really starting to make Bama play, or rather pay in the middle. As you take a look at Lou Henson, really light contact on that particular play, and I'm sure Lou Henson is much more accustomed to seeing a lot more physical action in the Big Ten.
He's got a problem up front now. Norman with 4, Anthony Welch with 3. Johnson with a tough shot as Mintz really had the body on him. Rebound to Farmer. Alabama goes back up by 3. Now, Alabama was challenged. Illinois grabbed the lead, and you got to give the Tide credit for coming right back.
I tell you, you talk about the upper body strength. That paid dividends for Jim Farmer on that particular play.
Welch from 16. What a luxury to have a 6'9" forward who can go outside.
Big fella has a nice stroke on that jump shot.
Welch has a dozen.
Bama ought to really be taking the ball inside with Norman with 4 fouls and Welch with 3. Ought to try to free up the guys when possible on the inside to go right at Norman and Welch.
Farmer tried to get Welch in the air on the pump fake. It didn't work. Alabama by a point, 9 minutes, 17 seconds left to go. Connor had the ball knocked away. It was Weisinger again. And then Mintz threw it right into the hands of Jackson. Well, Weisinger wanted the fast break bucket there.
Last play showed you, well, Connor's going to put it up this time, but he had lost confidence in that shot.
And Connor will get the foul. Timeout on the court, 9 minutes to go. Alabama by 1 over Illinois.
Introducing the amazing Minolta Maxim, the world's easiest SLR, because it alone has built-in automatic focusing. Look, Maxim's autofocus lets you get perfect shots before others can even focus. Change lenses. Maxim again gets the shots that used to get away.
Only the human eye focuses faster.
Minolta Maxim.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
Nothing works like a Chevy truck. Vortec muscle, V8 hustle.
Chevy has V8s available up to a big 454 with unbeatable power and a full-size pickup.
Nothing works like a Chevy truck.
Here's another big hand for the working man. Now, save up to $646 in work-ready options on specially equipped Chevy C10s with available 5-liter V8. For V8 power and hundreds in savings, nothing works like a Chevy truck.
A reminder for you, next weekend you can see the World Figure Skating Championships on CBS Sports Saturday and Sunday. Saturday we'll have the women's and pairs competition. 3-time and defending champion Katarina Witt will try to hold off U.S. national champion Debbie Thomas and Tiffany Chen. Next Sunday you'll see the men's and ice dancing competitions. Coverage on both days begins at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on CBS Sports Saturday and Sunday. Our score here is Alabama 47, Illinois 46. Lou Henson talking to one of the officials. It's amazing what the coaches do in these tournaments. How they try to work these guys, and the officials try to stay away from them as much as possible.
Some guys more vocal, others less. Lou Henson less, but just as effective.
Wimp Sanderson of Alabama. 47-46, Alabama and Navy going for a major upset, leading Syracuse in the Dome 46-41. Big day for David Robinson in the midshipman.
You know why Paul Evans is so attractive a commodity in the coaching circles these days.
Right here, we got a hold on 31.
And we've got a hold inside on Derek McKee. That is his 4th. So both starting centers have 4 personal fouls.
And a foolish foul. Playing with your hands as opposed to your body. Again, that's where the experience will hopefully come into play for the big fella as he continues to play.
And Wimp Sanderson immediately will go to his bench to get Michael Ansley, number 45, in. And McKee will go to the bench with those 4 personals.
That hurts Alabama more so now because Norman plays a little smarter with 4 fouls, even though he's not in there. Plus, Illinois has more big people they can bring into the game.
Tipped pass recovered by Weisinger. Mentz from the baseline. He's got a good shot. This is Welch with a rebound, and Welch outfought 3 players to get it.
Excellent hustle. Wiry, strong, finesse game, but he really moves extremely well. Plays with a big heart.
Douglas will try his hand and puts Illinois on top, 48-47. Only 6 for Bruce Douglas, but that was a big bucket there.
Douglas's basket, but give the credit to Anthony Welch. He kept it alive.
Weisinger and Welch leading Illinois in scoring, 16 and 12 respectively. For Alabama, Farmer and Johnson, the only players in double figures with 10. Johnson has not scored in the second half, and he had that one blocked.
And Illinois recognizes that Johnson is the man on the inside for Bama now. They can concentrate on him. That's where McKee hurts them when he's out of the game.
Johnson averaging 21.1 points a game. Right on that average in the first half, JB, with 10. But that's only the first or second time he's seen the ball in the second half.
And he's having to work 1-on-3 on the inside. And the bodies of Illinois are just too big, too physical, taking a lot of strength and stamina away from Buck Johnson in the process.
Weisinger comes out to get it. Ephraim Winters has been the scoring surprise for Illinois. He has not scored today, averaging 9.7 points a game. Weisinger baseline over Jackson. And here's Winters with an offensive rebound, but they say he pushed off to get position. Number 2 on Ephraim Winters.
Talked the first half about how Henson is an excellent tactician and certainly would come up with something in the second half. Obviously, Weisinger was a good weapon to bring off the bench, but with his outside scoring, he's also running some delayed picks and screens on the inside for the big men. They're getting the ball in the middle and putting pressure on Alabama.
You saw the clock. We're down to 7 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in this ball game from Charlotte. Jackson wants the basketball, but Winters has done a good defensive job on it. Farmer. Shot won't go. The rebound to Douglas, and Douglas is fouled in backcourt by Terry Connor. Alabama looks like they're rushing everything a little bit right now.
Plus, they've lost a little bit of zip in their game. When the guys start reaching, that's an early indication of fatigue starting to set in on the ball players. They're not running with their legs and playing defense with their legs.
Both teams have only gone 7 men deep to their bench.
classic struggle, sort of, in terms of speed going against the physical size and strength. Speed won out in the first half, but now maybe the strength of the inside players of the Illini is starting to wear down the Bama players.
Plus, number 10, Tony Weisinger, has really been able to turn it around. There's Mentz in the lane. Nice move by Mentz. He beat Ansley into the middle and got the basket. 4 points for Scott Mentz, and Illinois now up by 3. Douglas just drops way off of Connor. He knows he won't shoot it from out there. Buck Johnson, desperate to get something going for Alabama, hits a tough shot.
And Jim Farmer's limping up the court. Looks like he twisted that ankle. That certainly could hurt if, in fact, it proves to be serious.
That was only the first basket of the entire second half for Buck Johnson. He has 12 on the game. And there is Weisinger.
In the land of the Giants, where he doesn't belong, but he's been doing it.
Well, you go tell him. He's got 18 points today, 52-49.
Well, if Buck Johnson and Derek McKee haven't told him by now, certainly it won't do any good.
Navy continuing to lead Syracuse. Connor, nice move. And a shot at his own rebound, but it's picked off by Ephraim Winters.
That's been a big key. The fact that Connor has not been able to get inside. When he's had those shots, he has not been able to convert. That keeps the pressure on Buck Johnson.
Douglas has done a nice defensive job on him, but then you expect Bruce Douglas to do the nice defensive job. One of the best defensive guards anywhere in the country. Mentz looking for that shot, short on the jumper, rebound to Connor.
Even with that, Bama's only down by 3 points, if they could get the break working well for him.
And Weisinger finally did something wrong. He commits the personal foul as he tried to draw the charge on Farmer. Number 2 on Tony Weisinger. Just what a tremendous impact he has had, and that was the 7th team foul against Illinois, putting Alabama in the bonus.
Imagine how dangerous Illinois would have been all year long had Altenberger been in the lineup. We haven't talked about the kind of value that he was to this team, given his all-around play.
Farmer got the roll, and it's 52-50. Kentucky will play in the next round against Western Kentucky, and they want to get a peek at this one. Why not? It's a 2-point ball game. Farmer trying to make it 1, misses, and Mentz with a rebound.
Well, you heard the big cheer from the fans, this large Kentucky contingent. Well, they came out just to watch. You know game 2 is going to be a doozy.
Now, they brought a bunch with them. And with 5 minutes and 7 seconds left to go, we've got a timeout. It's a 2-point game. Illinois over Alabama.
Where you going? It's Michelob.
This is it. Opening night.
Brian, party of 2?
You're on your way to the top.
The flavor's just great.
No other beer is brewed and aged like exceptionally smooth Michelob.
Table for 2?
Oh, that'll be about 45 minutes.
We did it.
Where you going? It's Michelob.
When it's time for fun, take it on the run. Introducing today's Sprint, the import from Chevrolet that loves to run.
Loves to save, loves to run. Grab a Sprint, share the fun.
Sprint's 3-cylinder overhead cam engine combines extraordinary mileage with zippy performance. And with Sprint's low sticker price, the fun has just begun. Today's Sprint, it loves to run.
Drive today, Chevy. Live today, Chevy. Chevy.
Let me update the story for you in Syracuse. The Naval Academy upsetting Syracuse 51-46, 11 minutes to go in that game. The one-man armada is doing it all. David Robinson, 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 block shots. And with that jam, he picked up the 4th foul on Ronnie Cycli. Now, because of the differential in the 2 games, it means you will see the end of the Syracuse-Navy game. Now let's send you back to Mike Patrick. Mike?
5 minutes and 7 seconds left to go in this game, and Illinois by 2 over Alabama. Here's the timeout situation. Illinois has already used a pair here in the second half. Wimp Sanderson will have all 4 of his. Welch, Douglas, Weisinger, Mentz, and Ephraim Winters for Illinois. Alabama has Farmer, Connor, McKee is back in there with 4 personal fouls, along with Ansley, and Jackson is out of there. Mentz had it blocked by McKee. The 6'9" sophomore got up in a hurry. And Alabama with a chance to tie. Johnson had to go outside to get his shot. Douglas on the run and thinks better of it. He'll bring it back out.
One of the reasons that Illinois has Weisinger on a wing is that they can then play two-man basketball on that side of the floor.
The alley-oop to Ephraim Winters went sour, and the ball goes out of bounds to Alabama. I think Winters must have taken his eye off of it because it was a good pass from Douglas.
Excellent pass, right on the money. That's where hands come into play.
Approaching the 4-minute mark, Illinois by 2 over Alabama after the Crimson Tide had built a pretty good first-half lead.
Zone defense on the part of Illinois. It looks like a 1-2-2 setup.
Connor trying to penetrate. Nice lean-in move, but he missed a shot, and Welch with a big rebound.
He has missed a basket full of those easy shots in tight. Any number of those shots made would certainly make it a lot better for them.
Another update on Navy-Syracuse. David Robinson has 22 points and 8 blocked shots, and Navy leads the Orange by 9. How about that, JB?
David Robinson, I think he's got some pro aspirations in mind.
Douglas' shot won't go. Now, Illinois is not getting the ball to Weisinger as much. And he's the young man that's gotten him in this ballgame. Farmer won't go for him. Rebound to Ephraim Winters.
Both teams a little cold. Farmer trying to exploit his size advantage over the smaller Weisinger down low. But again, I mentioned one of the reasons that Weisinger was running the wing and the corner position was to play two-man basketball, knowing that Bama was going to have to respect his outside shooting. That would free the inside man up for the post move.
This is Weisinger. Air ball from the corner. Alabama with the ball and a chance to tie. Connor on the run where he's most effective, and he ties it at 52.
Well, the thing you have to like is that Connor obviously has not gotten down on himself by not shooting the ball. He's got to continue to push it. He's got to continue to put it up when the shots are there. Good indication there.
We've reached crunch time, 2:45, and we're tied at 52. Welch to Weisinger. Not looking for the shot that time. Weisinger, the man running the baseline that they're looking for. Shot clock is at 15, and Welch will fire and get it. Big shot from Anthony Welch. He has 14 points.
1-2-2 zone setup.
Alabama needs to answer. Buck Johnson with just 2 second-half points. The all-SEC forward just hasn't been able to get the ball that much. And he wants it badly. Under 2 minutes. Farmer! Boy, Farmer didn't move after he released that ball. He just followed it all the way into the hole. He has 13. Bruce Douglas looks at Lou Henson and wants to talk about it with 1:45 left in the ball game from Charlotte. We're tied at 54, Illinois and Alabama.
My daughter calls it the Blue Bomber. My wife thinks I ought to get rid of it. And when it needed a new muffler, well, I was afraid she might be right.
Listen, I don't want to spend too much on this car.
Midas had a muffler that was perfect for my budget. Now the old Blue Bomber sounds almost as good as new. And heck, she doesn't look that bad.
Trust the Midas touch.
Have you outgrown your small car?
Families grow up. Don't stay cooped up.
Chevy Celebrity.
Move up to celebrity. If your car's too small, then it's time to get a car that fits. So don't cramp your style.
Mid-size Celebrity.
Stretch out and smile.
Move up to more car for less than you'd expect.
Don't stay cooped up.
Drive today, Chevy.
Live today, Chevy.
Celebrity.
Alabama and Illinois tied for the 4th time in the game with 1 minute and 45 seconds left to go. And Illinois has used 3 of its 4 timeouts. Wimp Sanderson will have all 4 left. I think Lou Henson's made good use of his timeouts here in the second half.
I think he has, because they definitely have helped in stemming the tide of the momentum of the Crimson Tide, no pun intended, as well as getting his team adjusted properly with some good substitutions. He's a good tactician.
There's Wimp Anderson. 6th year, 126 wins and 60 losses after being 20 years as assistant coach, Wimp Sanderson.
Bama this time in a 2-1-2 defensive setup. Again, they've got Mike Ansley in the middle to plug up the hole there to try to keep Norman and Winters from popping into the middle.
Shot clock, of course, is a big factor here this year in college basketball. Welch. Illinois looking for that good shot. 15 seconds on the shot clock. 1:22 on the game clock. Norman with a big basket there. Norman now in double figures with 10 points, averages 16.7, and the pressure is on Alabama to answer.
That was just good athletic ability. You couldn't have asked for better defense on the part of Alabama that time.
Connor is cut off by Weisinger. What a great defensive job and offensive job Weisinger has done. We are under a minute. Into the lane went Connor to tie it.
That's the move. Again, Buck Johnson having to work so aggressively on the inside with 2 guys covering him. That's leaving the opportunity for the penetration for Terry Connor.
Now, Illinois cannot hold the ball the rest of the half. There is a 7-second differential on the shot and game clock. They will have to shoot it before time runs out.
Big possession for Illinois, obviously.
Welch gets it low to Winters, who had it blocked. Holy cow, what a defensive play, and what a time to get it.
You talk about doing it on both ends of the court. When the offensive end wasn't there for Buck Johnson to try and exploit his quickness, he did not give up on the defensive end, and what made that play was his jumping ability and that long reach of his. Take a look at Buck Johnson, again, giving his all on the defensive end against the bigger Winters, but he goes up, and good block, had nothing but fingertips right there on Winters' fingertips.
All right, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
We're coming right back for the final, but that upset's still brewing in Syracuse. As soon as Illinois-Alabama is over, you'll see the conclusion of this game. 63-51, Navy upsetting Syracuse in the Carrier Dome. Right now, back for the conclusion, and here's Mike Patrick. Mike?
Very much, Brett. 19 seconds left in this ball game. Very interesting, James Brown, that Ephraim Winters, a player who has not scored the entire ball game, would end up taking that clutch shot.
Well, the big thing there was that he had a good shot. He was down in the blocks. He had a smaller man on him. He's 6'9", Johnson 6'7". It was a good move, but Johnson, with good athletic ability, good leaping ability, just made a great defensive play. Now, as far as Bama is concerned, again, you know they're going to try to work the ball inside to one of their 2 keys, McKee or Johnson. If it's not there, what has been working is the penetration of Terry Connor, particularly if Illinois sends 2 and 3 guys to either Johnson or McKee. But patience. Patience will be the key. Try to run the clock down with 19 seconds left. Try to run the clock down to about 5 seconds left, giving yourself enough opportunity for a rebound, but not enough time for Illinois to go back with a game winner.
Lou Henson will send his starting front line back out there. Winters, Welch, and Norman to give us some height inside. Weisinger and Douglas will be the guards. Here comes Jim Farmer for Alabama, along with Derek McKee, Buck Johnson, Connor, and Michael Ansley. Now the officials are holding their own little conference with 19 seconds left on the clock, and we're ready to go. Wouldn't be surprised to see Farmer end up with the last shot. Johnson with the basketball. The clock is in the lower right-hand portion of your screen, and Connor is going to run it down. Bruce Douglas doing a great job on him, keeping him out of the lane, and makes him take it. He hit it. What a shot by Terry Connor with Bruce Douglas right in his face. Tony Weisinger. You couldn't ask him to do any more than he did, and Wimp Sanderson congratulating his players. James Brown, I never thought Terry Connor would take the last shot.
And I'm sure that element of surprise is what caught Illinois.
Take a look at the last shot, and Douglas is all over Connor.
Connor was going to kick it out to the wing position to Farmer if he was there, but he was in the paint. ugly-looking shot, but the most important thing is that it was effective. Again, we talked about how Coach Henson knew that Connor was effective on a penetration. Douglas is right with him, all up on his jersey. Just a good athletic move. Couldn't have asked for better defense from Bruce Douglas.
58-56. Alabama wins its 24th game of the season, and they will advance to Atlanta. Our final score here in Charlotte, North Carolina in the second round of the Southeast. Alabama 58, Illinois 56 in a wild one. Let's go to Brent Musburger in